Everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason here at New Dimensions and Crystals, New Dimensions and Crystals and Reiki, and all the good things here in downtown Brenham, Texas. And today's report is for July the 2nd through July the 8th, 2025. And as usual, we jump right in to our sun. The sun is calm. So the sun being calm sometimes gives us a feeling of low energy, right? So the sun is usually sort of powering either magnetically, plasmically, or all kinds of things the earth and making us feel energized. And sometimes that causes things to activate, trigger, and release. And so when it's low energy, sometimes we feel sort of like we're sluggish. And this is different from coronal hole energy, where coronal hole energy sort of is like high energy, but it's sort of thick to move through. This is going to be sort of a relaxation time. So sort of pay attention to that. And so the coronal hole that is going to be Earth facing or is currently Earth facing, the plasma stream from it is probably going to dive south or below the heliac plane, whatever, the solar plane. So it's going to dive below the Earth most likely. And so there might be a slight plasma stream uptick, but it shouldn't cause any storms and shouldn't actually really affect you at all. But just sort of know that that's there. Plasma filaments and solar spots and solar eruptions are low and doesn't look like anything's ready to be triggered. So pay attention to that. Moves us into what is our solar sign. We are currently in Cancer, and Cancer is going to be the breast, the spleen, and the stomach, right? So sometimes this can bring on sensations of nausea, right? Because a lot of times these areas are where we carry our toxicity, whether that be spiritual toxicity in the spleen or diet toxicity in the gut. Just sort of pay attention that that's going to be sort of releasing, right? And sort of the idea of the breast area is really about focus on being able to nurture yourself in higher ways, right? So change your diet, add supplements, all those kinds of fun things is sort of like, I'll say micromanaging, but definitely adjusting if you're experiencing a lot of that energy. A lot of that stuff could be fixed by diet, and diet can fix the gut, and then the gut can fix the hormones and all the fun stuff. We are also currently in Pluto, only one retrograde, Pluto retrograde. And that's deep wounds, deep power, right? So those are sort of things that are sort of coming up during this Pluto retrograde. We're also in the pre-shadow of Mercury. Mercury is about communication and travel. And sort of when we're in the pre-shadow Mercury retrograde, it's really that you want to pay attention to and make sure that you're hearing and communicating correctly. And this could also apply to how you're listening to your information streams, right? What am I actually saying? What are you hearing that I'm saying? And how can you sort of clarify and make that work for your own life? But also other things like if you're into ufology, if you're into government, if you're into cultural stuff, right? All the kinds of things that you sort of really want to pay attention to. What's actually being said? What are you hearing? And then sort of like you hear me say here all the time, one thing you can manage is how your body's functioning, how it receives information and energies, and when you can sort of tell that those shift, right? You can sort of tell what information is true for you. And this is not a more relativism thing, but this is sort of like when your instrument is correct and when your focus is clear and when your anxiety is calm, right? So when you're in a relaxed or meditative state, then you are able to see more information and collect more data, right? So you want to think of the higher stress and the more that you take external motivations and information in, the less you have data wise to sort of make that work, right? So you want to think of this as like if this is Netflix, there's too many other people on your internet service, and so it starts to become slow and blotchy, right? So the calmer you get, the more you get clear data. So just pay attention to that while you're doing that. And I think that's what we got on the retrogrades, which moves us into today, Wednesday, July the 2nd, 2025. And we are at the halfway point through the year. And so halfway point through the year really is a time to sort of reevaluate how's this going? What have I been doing? What things can I shift? And really the energy of Neptune is going to be sort of helping that out. The help is going to feel spiritual, not necessarily physical, right? So this might be aha moments, this might be cool dreams that sort of give you like, hey, what if we did this? Or the continuation of this effort in this direction gets us that. So pay attention to that information or that energy on Wednesday today. Moves into tomorrow, Thursday, July the 3rd, 2025. Earth is going to be reaching for Thursday and Friday is going to be reaching its farthest point away from the sun all year, which is what they call aphelion, or however you want to pronounce the Greek word, which means ap and helion, far away from the sun. And so you want to sort of treat that energy on Thursday kind of like the energy when you go on vacation, or if you remember when you were younger, like you learned and you knew how to act, but like when you got away from home, you were a different person, right? This is sort of like the governing energy of the sun is the furthest away, right? So we can be our most authentic selves, or at least sort of feel like we can sort of discern who we are outside of that influence, and then sort of notice how that influence helps us drive who we are. Yeah. So it sounds like good energy on Thursday. Can't wait till tomorrow. But basically a chill day, right? So you got Wednesday, chill day. You got Thursday, chill day, which we need some chill days if we're going to do a lot of extra fun stuff for the holiday weekend, July 4th. Because sometimes we do a lot of stuff for July 4th and we got to be here and there and everywhere. But also July 4th, moving on to Friday, July 4th, 2025. Neptune is going to be going retrograde for Friday and Saturday. So you sort of have this shift over the weekend, right? So if you're out partying and relaxing, that maybe you don't feel the shift till after you're done with all of that. But if you're just going to spend quiet weekend at home, you might not be feeling all that shift at all. You might feel it during the time that it's happening, not after it happens. So let's see what happens in it. So it's going to be a 5-month journey. Neptune's about spirituality, right? Deep spirituality. It's the water planet, water's emotion, spirit, energy. So you want to think of sort of some cosmic alignment stuff that might be happening for you, or evaluation of how you're cosmically aligned and how you could be more cosmically aligned, which leads us into tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. The day after that. The day after that, Saturday, July the 5th, 2025. Of course, Neptune will still be going retrograde. Everything, sort of moves on a 48 hours sort of timeline, right? The heavenly bodies or plasmoids are not stopping on a dime and reversing direction. So pay attention for that. But also on Saturday, the 5th of July, the moon's going to be sextiling Mars and sun is going to be trining the moon. And really that energy of Saturday is opposite sex communication is going to be going well. And there's going to be a general feeling of happiness, right? It's sort of like this, with these sort of alignments, is like, hey, everything's going to work out. And therefore, since everything's going to work out, you have this lower barrier to communication, right? So therefore, we communicate better. So that's the kind of energy that should be happening on Saturday. So if you're not getting to party on Friday and you're going to do your 4th of July weekend stuff on 5th of July, then same thing, right? That communication level gets a little bit easier. Pay attention that you're hearing, though, right? Easier flowing, more free flowing, but also that pre-shadow Mercury retrograde. Make sure you're actually hearing what it is and not mistaking it for some kind of extra kismet because you're wanting to hear something nicer rather than hearing something nicer. Just a cautionary tale for Saturday. Moves us into Sunday, July the 6th. Venus will be sextiling Saturn. And really, the energy of the day is really that business dealings are good, right? So if you're thinking about new businesses, or you have the ability to sort of work on your business or your business plan on Sunday, go ahead and do that. But also with the alignment, there is better communication through large age differences, right? So if you happen to be in a relationship with somebody that is further in age, right, that communication becomes pretty clear, right? A lot of times this is used for communication to parents and child. Right, so just sort of pay attention that it's easier to sort of have those communications, those talks on Sunday with the alignment of the energy. And then just sort of the cautionary tale of that energy is you're going to be wide open for empathetic or sympathetic feelings, right? So you might be feeling everybody else's emotions, right? So pay attention and make sure if you're starting to feel overwhelmed, if you can sort of double check, is that my energy, that my emotions, or is that somebody else in the room or the space that I'm interacting with? Leads us into Monday, the big day of the week, which is 7/7. But if you do 25, that's also 7. So triple sevens for the 7/7 gateway. In the 7/7 gateway, magical numbers, manifestation, all the fun stuff of the sevens. But we also want to pay attention because this is the thing that I wanted to highlight. that everybody on the internet's talking about is Uranus is moving into Gemini, and it's going to be in Gemini for 7 years. So there's a slog, so it's moving to a new sign. It's going to be doing certain things and stuffs and whatnots. And so uh, Uranus is really about creativity and innovations, exceed under this sort of alignment and arrangement. And so something to sort of pay attention to. And I'm really glad because it just left Taurus, right? So I've had 7 years of this sort of change and shift. But the idea that the energy is sort of happening on 7-7 is there's sort of a resistance to tech and surveillance and all that stuff. And so it's not necessarily that all of that's good and you should just let it all happen. But it's sort of the 7 year period, rather than not doing it at all, thinking it's bad, resisting it, or trying to keep it in a box. This is really more the time to sort of like get on board. How can you interact with technology in a positive way? Because the tech innovation revolution kind of energy is going to be increasing over the 7 years. Um, Also, the cautionary tale, which you see all over the internet, is that last time this was the alignment, or that this sign was in that sign, there this planet was in that sign, was World War II and the Civil War. And so, obviously, pay attention to high passions and sort of notice how passions can be properly channeled, so that we can make note of that, which leads us into 7-8. There's not a whole lot of shifts, but the shift on Monday is big enough to move into Tuesday. And so you want to spend Tuesday getting used to Uranus. And so Uranus, in particularly, is about sudden change, innovation, and rebellion. And so you could have breakthroughs. Originality is important, and really, what occurs under this alignment is the dismantling of the old for the new. Right? It's not just not old for something else that's old, right? So it's not a switcheroo of something. Oh, let's do this again. Um, and it's also not dismantling the old to leave it dismantled and in disarray, right? So it's not an old for the broken. And we really want to pay attention to that. Gemini uh, is associated with air or ether, right? So this is more of a spiritual awakening, and that you should sort of take that into note as all of the internet tells you that apocalypse is happening and the aliens are going to land and make it worse or save us, or the return of so and so, right? Really, what's this machine that you are doing, and how is your soul driving it? And then how can you uh through ritual, diet, and exercise, maximize this vessel to be a good communicator of your spiritual higher self, and take all that all into account. It sounds like an easy Tuesday. I will be closed at the shop July 4th. Thinking of coming in on Saturday, but it might be super busy then too. But we'll see. If not, sorry I missed you on Saturday, but I'll definitely not be here on Friday, July the 4th. I think that's everything for this report. Thanks for watching, everybody. I enjoy giving you the what's what, the down low, the pathway through, or the pathway above, what's happening on the planet and in the stars. And until next week, everybody, I wish you many